Around the world in 5 months, 17 races completed in the COVID-19 pandemic. Formula One has provided the entertainment, one of the best seasons in Formula One history. We've had 5 different winners: Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Gasly, and most recently, Sergio Perez. It's the 13th of December, the latest the Formula One season will end since 1965 at South Africa. That race was won by Jim Clark, a British driver. It's the 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and this is the first practice session, unusually in the daylight of Abu Dhabi. Let's take a look around Yas Island of the United Arab Emirates. Sectors, an undulating track, it's counterclockwise as well. 21 turns, 3.451 miles in distance, all the way around this Abu Dhabi circuit. Into the last corner, get a good exit, right on the exit curve, and then open up your DRS and hurtle down towards turn 1. A quick flick towards the left. Be careful not to compromise the exit, the car's likely to oversteer, then fly up towards turn 2 and 3 before the chicane at 4 and 5. This is also where you can go off onto the corkscrew layout, but Formula One uses the Grand Prix circuit, so a chicane for 5 and 6, where Michael Schumacher and Liuzzi crashed back in 2010. The hairpin at turn 6 as well, a tight double apex corner. You always miss the apex there, but you hurtle down the back straightaway, up to rich max on your fuel, open up the DRS and use your overtake button as well. A great opportunity for a late braking zone into the second chicane on the track, a hard uphill braking zone, 2 90-degree corners to try and get right. Flick the car to the left, then the right, then hurtle onto the support pit lane. Unusually here, it's a curved start line. Formula One weren't planning on using this if we had to have a double-header event. Down to the third chicane then. This one's a little bit trickier. An acute angle corner, uphill as well. You can easily break the car if you rumble over these sleeping policemen. The last 2 parts of the track in the last sector, this is the greatest run of all because it's so easy to lock your front left tyre because the car is out of balance underneath the Yas Hotel that lights up all the different colours during the night. And then the trickiest corner on the track, because if you get this wrong, you're heading straight towards the Uncode barrier. Accelerate now using all the track wind into turns 20 and 21. Don't run too wide, otherwise you'll lose the lap time. Accelerate out of the last corner, hurtle to the line, and that is a lap of the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. And unusually, we just had to do all of that live due to graphical errors preventing us from actually having the pre-recording as well done. So alongside me in the commentary box, Ian Birch, for the final Friday of 2020. And the first practice session is coming up. Well, Dad, we've made it. 17 races, and this is the last one.
You know, it doesn't seem 5 minutes since Kellyanne and Jack were...
in
Australia for the Grand Prix.
That got cancelled.
They got cancelled. They walked the track the day before it got cancelled and brought you home a little memento.
Yeah, we've shown that, the little gravel that they picked up out the circuit.
And we were all looking forward to a race in Australia, and it got cancelled at the last minute. And, you know, now we're here at the last race of the season in the immaculate... It's so clean. It's all painted white and lots of glass everywhere. And you get fantastic views from the Yas Marina Hotel bedrooms of the track.
Which this year, they're now a biosphere, so everyone in Formula One is staying at that hotel.
Yeah.
The green light is on. The session is underway. The final free practice one of the year. Unusually, though, it's in the daytime, and this being a twilight race means it's slightly more useful than normal, but it's not at the right track time for the drivers, so it's a bit weird. As we just get everything set up in the commentary box, massive graphical errors that hit us today as well, which had to mean we had to do the first bit live, which was why there's a few more mistakes than usual. But this place is absolutely awesome. Not many people do like...
Well, this place.
Well, not the commentary box as well. That needs work on it.
Tidying
as well. Well, we've got to the last race of the year, and nothing has broken. Nothing's faded away.
I hope when you get the mat down and on the floor instead of the concrete floor, I hope you have keep it a lot cleaner than this. You'll
We'll
have to get the Hoover out.
I was going to say, could vax it a little bit more. But this is it then. It's just behind us. Sebastian Vettel's already on the replay. Now, Ferrari have bolted some aerodynamic... they're sensors, aren't they? To the grates on the back of the rear wing.
And it's the rear wing is a different shape, isn't it? By the look of it.
It looks to be a different shape. Yeah, less drag on the front.
So they're just testing it. It's one of those. They've brought quite a few updates over the last few weeks, and Ferrari have seen an upturn, and Binotto not being at the track for 2 races.
And he's not here this weekend as well. He's been sent home. He's not feeling very well, but we understand it's not COVID. So that's 2 blows for Ferrari this weekend. I'll get into it a little later, but continue what you're saying.
Maybe he didn't want to say goodbye to Sebastian.
Yeah, would you want to say goodbye to Sebastian after what happened this year, in the past year?
Sebastian has been quite open this week about the ups and downs of being a Ferrari driver. It sounds like he's writing a book, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I look forward to reading that book. Now, everybody, you might be a little bit wondering, why is there an M. Schumacher on my timing screen? That is because for the first time since 2012, in the Brazilian Grand Prix, a Schumacher is in a practice session. Mick Schumacher is debuting in the Haas car for free practice 1. He should have had a go at the Eiffel Grand Prix, but Friday got washed out. So the son of 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher is out on the track with the number 50 in this first session, which means Haas currently have, I think, both drivers out of the session. That's Magnussen. Yes, Fittipaldi's in and Schumacher's in for Magnussen. So neither of the Haas cars are driven by their usual drivers. That's interesting. Fittipaldi alongside Schumacher.
Right. So we know why Roman's gone home.
Yeah.
He's decided not to have a final race because he's just too injured. We thought that, but the lad kept wanting it, and there was no way that right hand would have put up with this.
No way he would have around 57 laps of this place. No.
The interesting thing is also Williams. Kubica is driving. I saw Kubica walking around with his overalls hanging down and tying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nice to see Kubica. Maybe that's the swan song for
him,
Kubica, as well.
Mick Schumacher, the 2020 F2 champion. We saw that last time out in Shakir with a great battle with Callum Ilott. Albon's gone top. So Lewis Hamilton has returned to Formula One. He passed 3 negative COVID tests that he needs to, so he's back in the car this weekend after just missing 1 race.
He only passed the 3rd one yesterday morning.
Yeah, so he got very lucky. Angela, he's race engineer really for him. He's
she's his girl Friday, come
physio,
everything.
Yeah.
So come mother at the track.
She's having to isolate still in Bahrain and won't be here until tomorrow.
No.
So there's the 44 back out, Lewis Hamilton. It has split the fandom completely. Half the people say, oh, why is Lewis back this early? We wanted George in the car to see what he could do. And then half the people say, yes, the king is back. I must admit, I'm in a bit of a
lot of people in
decision.
Britain would have liked to see Valtteri not race this last race and George race it.
Yeah.
And have 2 Brits in the Mercedes.
I must admit, I'm a bit of half decision as to whether Lewis should come back.
I've got a feeling, I know that Toto has been been quite critical of Valtteri's performances in the last, without saying it out loud, without saying it, he's just off the cuff to the media. He's been saying that, and the rumours are that he has told Valtteri the results, quite a few 7th and 8ths over the last 4 or 5 races, isn't good enough, and that George outshone him, and that he's got to pull his socks up. But he's got to give him his chance to pull his socks up.
I mean, Russell had the wrong tyres on his car in Shakir. He had to pit again.
To be honest, last
he had a puncture.
Last weekend,
he got spooked.
It wasn't Valtteri's fault that they had to put his old tyres back on.
Yeah, that was their fault.
It was their fault.
Yeah.
But they live and breathe as a team. He says the 2000 team principles at Mercedes. It's Toto's throwaway remark, isn't it? And honestly, to tell you the truth, what a mess up. And it was. They're not going to admit it, but it's because a lot of the team were isolating as well, and so it was like the B team doing that, and then they had
radio.
Now, Ant's been saying, was it Ant?
It was Ant, yeah, Ant and Ted, yeah.
Who was saying to Ted about the fact that Toyota, all those years ago, the drivers weren't allowed to use the radio as on the last corner before they came into the pits, which is pretty normal because of the fact that you could block the radio transmission to the garage, and somebody blocked that radio transmission to the garage. I'm not saying who, right? But anybody can get on that wavelength.
It's easy. I mean, all the teams can hear the other driver's information as well. It's not that secretive.
If you don't think there are little things goes on behind the scenes in Formula One, there are thousands of little things where things.
I mean, we can hear in our ears the pit lane channel of what the team is
radically different.
Yeah.
It's
like the floor.
It's like it's like the.
We've got the floor of Charles Leclerc.
It's like half of it's missing there.
Yeah, there's a new floor on the back of Charles Leclerc's car, and it's got a lot more aero veins, and it looks like half of the diffuser's been ripped away, and the floor has now got, it's got like a scoop in it, the floor. So that's quite unusual to see. So the floor of Leclerc's car looks like it's got a scoop right down the middle. Yeah. Well, it's the last race of the year. Everyone's getting ready for 2021.
It's not necessarily the car that will race.
Yes.
I was expecting a smaller rear wing than that on this circuit.
Let's hear from Lewis. So Lewis is experiencing high front brake temps, and he's been told to keep off the brake, and he's saying he's not on the brake. So now they're saying they've got a brake sensor offset problem. Because Lewis is saying that he's staying off the brake, and Lewis is saying something's not right. Well, a remarkable effort for Lewis to get back into the car after suffering COVID. And he suffered it quite badly, we understand. So he's got over that quite quickly. But
the tendency is that after COVID, people are saying that they feel weaker.
Yeah.
And so that could be the situation. It certainly was with Stroll and with Perez that they didn't race very well the weekend after they came back.
Yeah. I think George who's now back at the Williams guys, was just talking to his engineers about DAS because he was moving his hands and like that.
Yes, there is also something. Nicholas Latifi.
2 seconds. Lewis says that the car feels like it's braking all the time. Yeah, it's stuck.
It's brake-by-wire problem.
Yeah, because of course the brake pedal's not actually connected to the disc. As you said, it's connected to a wire, and it's all electrical.
It's an electrical pulse. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just taking that back in our ears. Yeah, so they've come in and they've neutralised that lap time for Lewis then, and he'll go back out as soon as they fix that issue. Continue what you're saying.
Well, it wasn't only the Williams team that got benefit from George going to thing. These the Williams personnel.
Yeah,
lots of them, including Nicholas Latifi, put bets on that George would get pole in the Mercedes and would beat Valtteri.
Lost it though.
In the Yeah.
They lost money on that because
in practice, in qualifying, and they won a lot of money.
Yeah, not surprised.
Not that Nicholas Latifi, also a son of a billionaire,
needs the money. Yeah.
And can we get on to without talking about what went on?
Because we can't talk about too much. Yeah.
The warnings we said about Mazepin have come true in on social media and in the press. And
it's been a lot recently. Now we can't get into it for legal reasons.
Haas say they're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So if you see Mazepin on there's a difficulty here because of the fact that Haas we're going to close.
Yeah.
It was
they were going to pull the plug at the end of the year.
Thing secret round the planet. They were going to pull the plug on their Formula One outfit, and Mazepin's dad, who was a billionaire, invested in the team, right? And so. It's a difficult situation because if you weren't a paid driver, they would just sack you
immediately.
Yeah.
So
for indiscretions.
Everybody on social media has been calling for Mazepin to lose his drive. And it's not as simple as that. We would like him to lose his drive. I have never liked Nikita Mazepin. I'm saying that now. I've said it before.
No, he's not an acquired taste.
No, he's an aggressive driver, and he displays tendencies off the track as well.
He's the exact for a billionaire's son. He's the exact opposite of the other two in the paddock.
Yeah. Lance
right?
is humble.
Lance and
Latifi,
Latifi are Lance and Nicholas Latifi are they're quite laid back.
Yeah.
And you know, and not really. You wouldn't think they were billionaires' sons.
Yeah.
But whereas
Mazepin
is who I am.
Yeah. Hazel Southwell, I think, is joining me for Free Practice 3 tomorrow. And then she's been quite vocal about this on her Twitter account, so I'll be eager to get her views on this as well, because I think Hazel also
with restraint because of the fact that
she was saying herself, we can't get into legal issues completely.
It's a legal nightmare because his dad's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right. And all dads protect their sons, and they don't matter whether it's us or Ted. They would. But you do, if you want to know the story, just go onto social media. That's all you can say.
Yeah, and let's hope that Haas deal with it appropriately and sack him.
Well,
now,
Haas is an American company, and they're very up on that in America at the moment because of the hashtag movement.
Yes, I completely agree. And let's hope they get rid or at least suspend him for a certain number of races.
I think it will be suspension.
Because they've just gone to a break on Sky Sports F1, and we've only got Raikkonen and Ocon out the track, only 6 cars set
and
time.
It seems strange that they're going the other way.
Yes, because it's an anti-clockwise
We've got quite a
circuit,
few tracks like that in England where you go the other way. And it's the runoffs. The reason you can't just change it to the other way, to go the normal way, is the runoffs are all built into going this way round.
It's unusual because this part of this pit lane here is anti-clockwise.
Yeah, you can't just change it, can you?
No.
And why it was built like that, I don't know.
Yeah, so the pit lane is clockwise, but the track is anti-clockwise. It's very unusual how it's happened. It's because with the pit lane, you go underneath the track and up at the exit of turn 2. But it is an anti-clockwise circuit with a clockwise pit lane. It's very bizarre.
One of the things is that, because usually at Yas Marina, you get everybody flown out from the likes of Sky, and RTL, and
it's the last one of the year.
It's like the party at the end of the season, and you know, you get them all together and they're all in a happy mood and things like that. There's a restricted number of personnel being brought out by the broadcasters here.
Yeah. So they're all having to. Formula One is trialing a biosphere, so they've literally blocked off with gates all around the track.
Josh was going to pay for us all to go, and then I pointed out that I've got to do my hair in the morning, and so
that takes hours, and you'll never get over to the commentary box. Hopefully, as well.
I ain't got hardly any left now. I used to, you know, in the last few year or so, it's gone very thin on top.
It looks alright, though.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Well, you should see it when it's longer.
I don't care. I'm alive. That's the main thing.
Actually, I don't think your hair's pretty much stayed the same all throughout the year. It hasn't got as long as it did just before Austria.
It's quite messy now. It used to be so neat, and now I have it quite messy.
Well, hang on. In Australia, Australia, the first race of the year, it was down to your shoulders. You look like Fraser from '93.
Yeah, I was in my hippie stage early in the year. I go through hippie stages where I grow my hair really long.
Might be like that in
really
Australia.
Thick on top.
Australia, the 2021 season coming up.
I don't know. Your mum doesn't like it. Every time she moans like mad at me.
I know.
Over that.
Yeah. So everyone asking, what's the commentary situation this weekend? Well, you're with me for FP1 and 2. Hazel Southwell joins me virtually in the commentary box for Free Practice 3, and Megan's with me for qualifying, and then I think we're all together in the box for the race again, as usual, for the last one of the year. Hazel Southwell, who is a respected journalist as well. I followed her for many years in Formula E, and she's now been doing Formula One as well. She's kindly agreed to step into the commentary box, although she did say to me yesterday she's had 0 commentary experience. I said, that's okay, you've got more real-life experience than I have.
No, we have got 0 commentary experience.
Speak for yourself.
No, we haven't.
I've done a couple, if you think about it.
We haven't. He's only been doing it since he was 2.
Yeah. Well, I've got slightly, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow a lot as well. Been a couple of weeks in the planning to get her on, and I can't wait to have Hazel on the broadcast tomorrow. There's 4 hours, 14 minutes in the session to go. Bottas has just gone top 139.313. Leclerc, Raikkonen, Albon, Vettel, Ocon, Hamilton. And apparently, we've had the
Well,
year.
graphics are going wrong
On Sky.
at Sky as well. They've just put checkered flag graphics up instead of the practice.
I'll tell you what, that was the quickest race in history.
Yeah, that was great. It
See you
was
next
lovely
year.
lovely to see George win at last in a Williams.
Yeah, see you next year. Bye. Well, Sky getting that wrong.
Is it true that he brought their aerodynamics with him and just placed it on the car?
It's a Mercedes in a Williams livery.
Yeah, but the trouble was he painted it himself.
Yeah, so it's all got little squiggles on it.
Yeah, it's all got squiggles on it.
Talking of squiggles and painting himself.
Yeah. Are you going to talk about Lewis? Lewis came into the paddock this morning, and
No, I was still going to talk about Grosjean's helmet. But all right.
well, Grosjean's helmet's got nothing on what Lewis was wearing this morning.
What was he wearing this morning?
He was wearing a jacket and trouser two-piece that would look just like a load of squiggles.
God,
Black and white squiggles. It's typical Lewis.
I would have done my eyes.
And there'll be thousands going out to buy them because Lewis has done it.
Tommy Hilfiger, his range.
Tommy Hilfiger, yeah. And Lawrence Stroll will be going, hey.
He was, of course, partner with him and Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, because Lawrence Stroll made his fortune from... Lawrence Stroll made his fortune from being the guy that makes the gear for all these top designers. Right, his factories, and he's got other businesses. He owns Aston Martin as well.
There's Jack Aitken, who will not be driving this weekend.
And a certain Racing Point he owns.
Yeah, Lance Stroll owns that. But yeah, there's Jack Aitken, who's not racing this weekend, and he's bitterly disappointed. I think everyone's a bit disappointed. Jack's not racing.
Why has he had some of Bernie's wife's coffee? Bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, bitter disappointed. But just to get
I've never had his coffee, but they do say
because
the brand it is. It's a bittersweet.
We should try. I can't believe we've got cans of Rich Energy upstairs, and we have not got Bernie's coffee.
Yeah, and if you scratch away at the side of the Rich Energy,
does it say Red Bull?
No, but it's blue.
Just going on to the thing as well about I was on about with Romain Grosjean. He had his helmet.
Just making a note of that for the lawyers. That's 2 we've got down here for the lawyers.
Well, it's the end of the year.
Do we know a lawyer?
No, you do. Going forward as well.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say. Yeah, going forward then with Romain Grosjean, his Bell helmet arrived for this weekend's race. And I think it's one that his kids designed. So it's all got squiggles on it all around, and a bit like Lando's earlier on in the year. But unfortunately, he's not racing it. So he says he's going to have to find somewhere where he can take it out and use it.
Maybe one day his son will use it.
That would be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's got an 11-year-old son who is possibly his biggest critic.
And of course, the other helmet.
He's honest about his dad's performances. And,
he has one.
He's just lucky that this Christmas morning, the gods have said, you will have your dad, because we were really worried when we saw that explosion. Because we knew that his wife and him have got three young children.
It was horrible as well.
You should be looking at Kimi Räikkönen has just been told to look at his dash.
What's he done?
More.
And it looks black on the screen.
I don't think it's working.
No, I don't. He's just skipped the front wing as well.
Kimi is one of those like Lewis though, who drives by instinct.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's completely done there, does it?
In a race though, you have to use the dash so much nowadays.
Change all the settings.
Change all the settings as you go round.
Also tells you if there's a safety car, yellow flag, or anything like that. But just to get last thing on Grosjean's helmet, the one that was in the fire that melted. Grosjean has actually sent it to the Bell Museum of helmets as well to display to show the safety. So I think that's
safety
great.
element of the design. Yeah.
So if you want to go and see the helmet, it's on display now at a museum, wherever Bell's museum is.
It's one of the reasons that when he got out of the car, because the visor and the tear offs, there was about 10 tear offs on there.
Yeah, at the start of the race, it's 10.
And they'd all melted, and that's why he couldn't see.
There's Latifi just getting out of the way of Albon.
Thankfully, his eyes were fine.
Got a tickle in the back of my throat today. So, as we see, it's still there. I think it's the dry air in the commentary box at the moment. Here we go. Gasly goes third. This is Albon, who's on a good lap time at the moment. Is he going to improve? He's 8th at the moment, improves to 6th. And Latifi stopped on the track somewhere.
Where?
Don't know. I've just got a red.
Where is Latifi?
Got a red square as Bottas is going slow down the back straight away. And yeah, I've just got a red square on the box. It's gone. It started again now. Yeah, and Latifi's just coming through turn
Interesting
3.
thing about Grosjean this week was that after all the nice things that was said, people then asked drivers that have driven with him.
Yeah.
And they all said that he was fast and lovely to be around, but they were critical of his driving.
They always were, weren't they? It's a bit bizarre, yeah.
Raikkonen said that there was quite a few things he used to get annoyed at with Grosjean about his driving when they were teammates. And I don't know. I always thought until about 4 years ago.
And 2 seconds, we've got Danny Ricciardo. Ricciardo's got a problem and he is stopping off the track. Yellow flags have come out.
They've all got small wings on, haven't they?
Yeah,
small wings.
It's the track, really. It's a fast layout as well. And Ricciardo is slowing, so the yellows are out on the track as well. It looks like he's stuck in first gear, look.
Yeah, that's probably
neutral now, so... It's a throttle. Yeah, it's a throttle issue. And he's stopped on the track now, so this will be presumably a virtual safety car to come out because he's stopped on the side of the track and they need something to push that back with. And I'll doubt they'll stop the session. Over to you.
In my opinion, Grosjean was one of those drivers who showed so much promise.
Yeah.
And then the cars started to get, as they got more technical, the cars started to get away from him.
Mm.
And although he was still capable of doing amazing things, right? Nowadays, you have to be like a computer expert to work the steering wheels. And I don't think that was his forte. I think driving was his forte. And I think the cars got away from him. And I think that was the problem with Roman, you know.
Just having a replay and a listen to the engine of Danny Ricciardo coming down the back straightaway. It just failed.
Yeah. When it was in first, it was doing a little bit of a fireback.
Kvyat's got a problem now as well. So Kvyat's got an issue. My God, that's Hamilton, Ocon, Russell, and now Gasly, all with issues.
In Bahrain, it was still not hot.
Yeah.
You know, really hot.
It was cool conditions.
It is really hot.
It's a half-hour flight away at the moment, but it is right because in the day we raced all in the night at Shakir, so the track temperature was a little bit less.
The Expo, the trade, you know, spectacular.
So we just see Danny Ricciardo staring up at the helicopter camera, and it looked like a very scary scene from a horror movie.
Yeah, he looks like a spaceman.
He just wasn't. He was standing.
Hello, I'm
still.
a spaceman.
Now the question is that
take me to your leader.
That car is down the old. It's down the additional start-finish straight that if we had to do a double header here, Formula 1 were looking at using. However, they've got no marshals there, and this might have to be a red flag. Kvyat's been told to push. Yeah, that's it. He's just been told to push again.
Get it back. Danny Kvyat's got to get back to the pits, really, isn't he?
Yeah. I think we've gone green. According to my monitor, it's a green. Green flag. Track
they
clear.
rolled it back.
Okay, yeah, that's a surprise. I never expected that. So as well,
Danny Kvyat doesn't seem to have a problem now.
Really?
No, he doesn't.
So we've got 3 seconds more, so it's 11. There we go.
It could be a drivetrain. Just a drivetrain problem there.
Virtual safety car's been deployed. According to my monitor, it's VSC.
So the sand's getting into the
something of the
Michael Massey's stuff.
Yeah, and they're having graphical errors, same as us as well. That took a long time for the VSC to be deployed.
Yes, welcome back to Checkered Flag. If you're on Sky.
Well, we had graphical errors as well this morning. We came to do the voiceover for the drivers and constructors championships, and they disappeared, and we can't find them, so we have to redo them. So it literally had to be a case of, that's why we were late on air.
I do nice voiceovers.
You should have done that. You're the only one who hasn't actually this year. Megan hosted 2 sessions.
If you want a nice, smooth bath.
2 seconds VSC being turned on Fittipaldi. So now I'm going to... Look, Daniel Ricciardo is helping push his Renault behind the barrier. And that's just don't whack it as well because that car might still be able to go. But he's lost an hour of track running.
Did they still do Radox?
No, they do. But now
we can go. Yeah. Just pour some natural Radox into a bath and soothe away the pain.
So that's Ricciardo now back out on the track, back behind Barry, I should say. And going green.
VSC is ending.
And we go green. So the session restarts here.
Lance Stroll's Lance Stroll's had a good season. You know, he's
podium in Austria.
People have stopped thinking of him like we always knew that he was a champion, F3 champion.
Yeah.
Right, and your dad can't buy you that, right? Talent did that, and he's now shown the world, and George has. We've been going on and on all season about how good George is. The drivers even wrote to after George did the incident behind the safety car.
Yeah,
the drivers all wrote encouraging emails to him.
We knew what he could do.
We all knew what he could do.
I think he proved it last weekend that it doesn't. If you pop anyone into that Mercedes, yes, they could probably get a podium. But George nearly had the win. But it went to Perez, the other Mercedes.
Everyone's been saying to Nick Latifi, it puts him in a better light as well because in parts of this season, he's been just on George's shirt tails. In that badly designed
Williams,
doesn't work properly. Williams.
And so 2021, where they can improve on this year's car a little longer, because everything stays the same for 21, except for the floor. With that changes a little bit on aerodynamic front, but still the car is basically the same. It's going to look good. Hopefully that'll do it.
Seb Vettel and Mark Webber should bring out T-shirts saying 2021 Seb.
They should. I want that. I'll buy one.
Well, you've got a T-shirt machine behind you.
That's a good point. I could do it myself.
All you need is the things.
No idea where you get them from.
Luke, get on with a 2021 Seb. Can we get away with that?
I think we can.
I don't know.
Just wear it in the commentary box. Although it'd be frightfully cold as well. Rumours have still circulated actually that Malaysia is looking to be the TBC race as round 4 of the season.
Are we going to get rid of these cobwebs before? I mean, you need your mum's Hoover.
Before the end of the season? Well, it could be,
No, not even before. By next season.
Oh, by next season as well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, it should be a good one.
Hopefully there won't be a spider. You know, call that a spider.
This
is a spider.
Megan said to me, actually, as Bottas goes very wide to the chicane at 14 as well and jumped over the barriers, not over the barriers, over the curbs, and nearly went into the anchor barriers.
Christian's looking a bit tired, isn't he?
Well, 17 races in 5 months, everybody was bound to feel a little bit tired. I mean, I'm still surprised we managed to do it. 17 races, a complete season, in effect, in this year. We've had a couple of double headers as well. 10 races got cancelled. Yeah.
If they ever remake Spice World the movie, do you reckon he'll get a part?
I'd have to, wouldn't he? As Bottas goes top of 137.
Probably the driver of the bus, replacing...
137.412 for Bottas. He goes top. Verstappen second from Raikkonen, Sainz, Latifi, Ocon, Gasly. 7, Leclerc, Kvyat, Albon, Vettel, Fittipaldi, Hamilton.
Did you just...
Schumacher.
Can you tell me something?
Yeah.
Right. Why is the light going up and down? And I felt just now like a presence go.
Yeah, I thought I felt something as well. There's something just flew past.
Us. Yeah.
There's no wind in the box. Yeah, there's no wind in here.
Spooky, spooky, spooky.
Tesla, I've got to be in here until 2 a.m. on Sunday as well. I've had enough. As they're still working on the front of Lewis Hamilton's car, coming up with an hour to go of the session. So a lot of work still to be done there. The brake-by-wire system's going to have to be changed over. I wonder if that's a result of they've had to change the pedals around back to Lewis from George.
Could be just a situation where the pedals actually
they had to do it this morning.
The pedals actually touching the sensor that actually sends the message to the box that works the brakes.
Now the car coming here was set up for George Russell. Even last night it was set up for George Russell. They've had to break some of the curfews to get that car ready this morning for Lewis Hamilton because they're two different people. Lewis is considerably shorter than George.
I've always wondered that because I've never seen them in the same place at the same time.
I have.
They are two different people, are they?
They are two different people, but Hamilton is smaller. George is 6'4". Lewis, I think, is 5'8".
Yeah, but I just thought he was standing on Angie's shoulders.
I think Lewis is actually the same height as me. I can't really remember as well. But Sergio Perez, on the other hand, is very small as well. And half the drivers do look like jockeys half the time.
Yeah, they used to. I mean, there was Alex Wirtz. Famously lost his drive in Formula One because he was too tall.
Yeah, Minardi at the time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they thought he wasn't suiting the performance of their car because he was too tall. He went on to have a great career as the driver's boss, and
driver's steward,
but never really raced at all in Formula One, even in practice, ever again.
He raced 2007, didn't he? At Williams on it. He replaced one of the drivers, but then left as well.
Yeah.
But they had Rosberg as well. So
but he was always very
different,
high
yeah.
up in this paddock. To do with Alex,
Yeah.
was an FIA guy at one point, wasn't he?
Yes, he still is actually. Yeah, he was also GPDA.
Yeah,
GPDA president, wasn't he?
Grand Prix Drivers Association president.
Replaced, I think,
There's
Schumacher,
Stoffel.
who is one of the most angriest guys in Formula One at the moment because he flew all the way from Formula E testing to drive in Shakir, only for it to be given to George Russell. I do feel very sorry for Stoffel Van Dorn because he should have had a go last weekend. He's been the reserve driver all year. It was his best chance to get a win. And yeah, unfortunately, though, he's more suited for Formula E, I think, at the moment because he did a cracking job.
I've always thought that he'd go to IndyCar rather than
I did.
Formula
fair,
E
yeah.
because of his father-in-law is Gilles de Ferran.
I thought he would go over to Indy as well. Quite a lot of the drivers are looking to move around. This, of course, the last race for a little number of drivers in their current teams. It's a big change around next year that you still got to think of.
I think the biggest surprise was the fact that they were able to get Fittipaldi in there
for this end of the season, yeah.
for the end of the season because of the fact that he
hasn't raced since February.
He hasn't raced since February.
No COVID testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily nowadays you only have a few to choose from because of the super licenses.
Yes, and he's got it just.
Fittipaldi did have a super license that was still in force
because they were going to try and get Gutierrez, but he's lost his super license now.
Yeah.
Now this is the safety car. And track limits at turn 21. Any driver leaving the track on the exit of turn 21 will have both that lap annihilated and the following lap time invalidated. So, exit turn 21 is going to be one to watch. I mentioned that actually in the broadcast.
Do they actually do that though?
Yeah, and that's turn 21.
I mean the following lap because I've never known it. Have you?
I have seen it once in the British Touring Car Championship. I didn't know they were going to do it in Formula One.
Yeah, they always say they're going to do it, and they never do it.
Yeah, that's
if Norris.
He's having oversteer in every corner. That's it. So Lando Norris having oversteer into every single corner.
Lando looking forward to a happy Bristol Christmas.
I'll tell you what, there was a puppet show.
It's a sherry, you know.
Yeah.
Bristol cream sherry.
There was a puppet show yesterday because this is Lando and Carlos's last race together. There was a puppet show on...
And they never invited me.
I know. But there was a puppet show yesterday and the whole internet has gone wild because they made Lando's puppet and Carlos's puppet kiss. I thought, yes, finally.
That's easy. You just do this.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
And that's just show. See?
Then you go.
That's what they did, yeah. Russell goes P9, 141.042.
I don't know. What? Excuse me, Josh. You're talking about puppets.
Roland Rat. Do you know what? Actually, just another question. Where are we commentating here at the moment in the commentary box?
Well,
I know there has been a couple.
It's not a rat, is there?
No, I know we've seen a couple.
Oh, all this rubbish on the floor.
I mean, we've had one, haven't we? But we had one in the back, but that wasn't a problem.
That was a mouse.
Yeah, but we've never seen one run across the commentary box floor at any point when we've been in here. So
no, because you've never seen you run out.
No. Indeed. So I must admit, the commentary box here has usually kept up its little thing, but yeah, it's very messy and it needs a clean after 5 months of constant work.
Josh, this is the last race of the season, although Josh has got his esports and things like that. But he's been going for other jobs like go on, say it.
What, F1 TV?
No, Mr. Derek.
Oh, Basil
Brush, yeah. I think he's too old at 21.
I'm too old to play Basil.
Not Basil. He's
Mr. Derek.
Mr. Derek.
No, I can't play that.
Joshua's actually met Mr. Derek because he was very angry with him over.
When?
Joshua is. We were up at Heartbeat
When was this? Oh, yeah.
And Joshua was in my car because he was playing up, right? The heartbeat.
I was 3.
The heartbeat team had looked after his brother and sister because he kept screaming.
Yeah.
Right, all afternoon.
You
and
try
things
being
like
their
that.
sheep at age 3.
And then the lad that's in Cole, who plays David in Casualty, and Auntie Claire were doing a scene that they'd got wrong so many times because he couldn't remember it. Right, and we were watching him and watching the monitor and listening to him, and he's walking down opposite the shops towards where Hare Cottage was, right? And Joshua, he gets it right, and he smiles at her and goes to say the last bit of the line, right? And Joshua tries to pull himself up in my car in the car park by my rear view mirror, which came off, and he fell on the horn, and the horn went, dude, and it ruined the scene.
It's an outtake.
It must be an outtake.
I've seen it. We've got it. I've seen it. It was on that. It'll be alright on the night or outtake TV, whatever it was. But I've seen it.
What they had to do in the end was they in the original thing, because he's done this 22 times, right, to get it right, because it's a real long monologue, and he's a perfectionist, and a brilliant actor, and he gets into the things like that, and they had to, in the end, the walking up bit, which he got right, and then the final thing when he faces her and talks to her, and Auntie Claire smiles at him, and they had to use that from a different
angle,
cut of the scene, and it all fitted together. So you was all right in the end.
I got
Josh.
lucky, but just quickly, we've got
sadly gone though. Mr. Derek.
Basil spoke at his funeral. That was confusing.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Come on, Josh. What did he say?
I haven't seen the funeral.
No, Mr. Josh.
Just saying quickly, as
There's not much going on track, other than the fact that
there was. I was about to say what's going to happen, what was happening on the track, because we've got Verstappen go to second, but moving up the order as well, we've got Norris in P9. Russell's on a good lap time, but they're still working on Hamilton's car on the front of the brake-by-wire system. They're having to change the pedal, I believe.
What I'm seeing on track is people trying to get used to this car and the braking areas. Especially the Williams, as the Williams has gone round, they're like going very, very cautiously.
It's Russell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Russell out there.
Well, it's like anybody who drives, right? You get in one car and out the other.
Takes a while to adjust back.
It takes a while to adjust. It can take if you're a professional driver, it can take a couple of minutes before you feel happy and safe in the car.
I mean,
the number of times I forgot when I went from a manual
to an automatic
Omega to an automatic Omega, the number of times I forgot and went for the gear stick.
Mum did that in the Chevrolet at the moment. She wanted to put it in reverse because she thought she was changing down to fourth. And that was mid-drive as well. That was close. Luckily, it didn't stop the car. But
smashed the gearbox.
That's the same thing. But I was just about
it has a disconnect on an automatic that should not happen.
Megan,
but you would over the road.
Megan pointed out, I think last week in the commentary, Russell is going to. Yeah, Russell's basically going to go from a supercar to a transit van.
Yeah,
and that's how it's going to feel as well, because it's still the
fact. Megan's good with the quotes like that.
Williams is still. If you had a Williams on the road, it would be insanely fast. But because he's gone from the Mercedes straight to the Williams, the top to the very bottom, it's going to feel like you're driving a transit van.
A lot of the Red Bull team have lost their long trousers and are now back in shorts.
So are the Mercedes, by the looks of it,
Yeah, and that shows they didn't at Bahrain.
I'll tell you what, though, Valtteri Bottas did complain how, I think, some of the hotter races this year during the summer, why are we in black overalls in the middle of the sun?
And a black car.
Yeah, because he was roasting. That's why he looked so exhausted.
The black car was one of the things to help solve that. It was done for the Black Lives Matter thing.
Yeah, there is Mercedes.
The reason they agreed to it was they thought that it might help with that sensor problem.
Yeah,
because they don't like heat, the Mercedes cars. They seem to have a sensor problem just around about the gearbox.
Yeah, just around about
That
there.
overheats. They've been trying to solve it. Hopefully they have. But you look back, everyone, on the early part of the season, especially, right,
Austria.
where it wasn't exactly massively hot,
Ooh.
but it was hot enough to cause them to have this sensor problem.
Yeah.
They weren't the only ones. Red Bull as well,
Red Bull with the mats.
and AlphaTauri all had the same problem in the same area.
They couldn't fix it as well. I think it was back in Hungary, wasn't it, as well?
In fact, one of them actually, I think it was AlphaTauri. Was it AlphaTauri? Who
Yeah.
cut parts of their rear engine cover off.
Yeah, just
To get some
the slits
more-
in the back.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
and that was-
Silverstone, yeah.
Yeah.
Renault have just put a message out. We can confirm Daniel stopped on the track with a fuel pressure problem. He was using off the Friday engine, which has just disappeared because Haas have interrupted that. Where is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just simply that he's no problem because he's using the Friday engine.
Yeah, and it was due to change tonight for Saturday anyway, so they'll just move that up.
It was due to retire that engine. They must have at least 2 more engines for each car
That they can use.
that
yeah.
they've used already that they can just keep putting back in.
Maximum of 3 engines, of course. One would have
You
already
can
died
work
at this
on an
point,
engine
yeah.
once it's been taken
Yeah.
out.
Yes, you
Once
can. Yeah,
it's been used once, you can repair it and
you just can't break the seal, can you?
On the
On the
gearbox.
gearbox, yeah. Because if you do that, it'll count as a new one. So that's what I think. What
and
we
you
have.
have to have the same
Yeah.
code on the ECU as and about 5 other different parts.
Yeah. And that's the trouble that Ferrari.
And then if you
got
don't,
into,
you have to fill in a form and get
Yes.
the FIA to verify it. So that lad in the pit lane will have to come down and
Yeah, that's
and
we
show him
had that
the-
recently, didn't we?
Yeah.
When was it? I think
last
it was
weekend.
Just last weekend, yeah. We had that problem with the homologation of the cars.
Yeah, you have to get you have to get the okay from the FIA. They have a team in the pit lane that can do that. One of them is
Joe
an expert,
Bauer, yeah.
Joe Bauer.
The policeman of Formula One, they call him. As we're just seeing advert on our screen.
It's all about Dad getting home for Christmas. It's Coca-Cola's new advert,
Oh,
right?
so-
He's set in the Scandinavia, you know, and look, he's all battered and
Bruised,
worn
yeah.
out because he's done all these things, and then Santa comes along in his Coca-Cola truck, gives him a lift, and by the time he gets home, he's had a shave, a wash, and the things. So it's amazing what's in a Santa truck now.
Hang on, I just have to point
And
out.
there's his little
yeah.
girl, and waiting for him. Daddy's come home for Christmas.
No, but can I just point out the selfishness of this? She gives him the letter to take to Santa, and all it says is bring him home for Christmas. So she just sent him on a grueling task, only for it to be brought back. That's selfish.
I sat the Coca-Cola truck.
Yeah.
Joshua hasn't told you that I'm one of the few people in the world that's actually crashed into a Coca-Cola truck.
Yeah, you.
I backed
You got
into it slightly,
Yeah,
and
you
it was
got
their
looked
fault
up.
because they were telling me
Yeah.
they were telling me to back my car up, right? And I kept thinking, well,
Yeah, I forgot.
my-
Yeah.
my little sensor in this car is going doo 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 doo.
Is it the Chevy then?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, no. I had one in the Omega
Oh, the-
automatic as well,
yeah,
or
yeah.
the black one. I don't know which one it was, but yeah, it was. You could hear the sensor going like it was getting close to something, and so I slowed down and just let it do it automatically,
Yeah,
going
well,
backwards
reverse
with
it,
my
yeah.
foot on the crutch,
Yeah.
right? And they shouted stop, and I went. And I'd stopped really easily, and
Yeah.
Apparently it was a millimetre away, right, from touching the Coca-Cola truck.
That I think has already passed Grimsby as well, actually,
Yeah.
at this point, which is disappointing.
And then you sing at them things like "Holidays is coming" instead of "Holidays is
I
coming."
know.
Do you think we'll get some
No,
Coca-Cola?
Probably not. Latifi's
I
out.
can't drink it anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. Latifi's out on the
Can I have
track.
Diet Max, please?
Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
No,
Or
yeah,
Coke
anything.
Zero.
Coke Zero.
Yeah. Even the Diet Coke's got
I don't.
sugar.
I'm,
Can I just put it? I never
it's
know.
caffeine.
Yeah.
As well. You
Yeah.
can,
I never know why.
caffeine free. You need caffeine
Yeah.
free.
Well, you've got one of those. I never understand why you don't get the Coke Zero with the caffeine-free ones as well. It's the same taste. It's got nothing else in it. Don't know how they
Easy.
do
I
it.
never go out shopping.
That's a good point. Hamilton is coming back out on the track finally, so they've done some fantastic
Lewis,
work.
go.
Yeah. So they've changed the brake pedal, we understand, and the wire that connects
have
it.
we got something wrong with the chat line? Because no one is talking to us.
It's early in the morning. It's 9:45, remember, and it's a Friday.
9:45.
We'll probably get more in free practice too this afternoon.
10:45 in Europe.
And of course, quarter to
12:45 in Russia.
I think it's about
5:45 in the morning in New York.
I can't get. Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get the 5:40, and in Hong Kong as well.
Did we have the girl from Australia last time out?
Well, what time would be in Australia around about now? I think we did have Gwen Wynn at one point.
It's about 10 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, so probably it's Friday night then. And Australia, they don't have to wear masks.
It's probably
anymore.
out.
Yeah, they don't have to wear masks anymore in Australia. Well, half
Really?
of it, I think, parts of Australia. Yeah.
And Auntie Carol and Uncle Gary in Scotland have got the shops open for the first time
That's nice.
today. Silence.
Haggis all round. Now, back to
I
the
love
point.
haggis. Burns night. I love haggis.
When is Burns night? Is that New Year's Eve?
Gone.
No.
We had it. It was lovely.
I must have missed that. Usually,
Didn't you have a taste this year?
No.
Ah.
I would have been sick.
It looks awful, but it's just basically looks like it tastes like vegetarian mince. It's a spicy thing. It's spicy, peppery, and nice, and it's a bit like eating peppery couscous.
Fair point. Cars coming out of the track then. At the
Everybody's scared of haggis. Oh, haggis. You know what I mean, pal? I don't.
Vettel on the back half
Somebody better tell me.
Vettel on the back half of the track. He's on an out lap. I think Latifi's on a push lap, but he's going slow in the first sector. Hamilton is just testing out that car on the out lap, and he's going to go for a push lap now. He's 19th overall, and the last driver set a time because Ricciardo was stopped on the track.
That was that picture of George in the pits just then, because it looked like who was that French driver? It was
Panis.
No, like it begins with an L. Because he looked just like him from the
Lapierre?
80s.
Lapierre?
I don't know.
Hamilton's have gone on a push lap, but
Who
he's
was
got
the one that was going to win at Monaco, and then broke
sure.
down after remember they all
I
could have been
remember.
eight different winners
I'll find out.
because they all had problems on the last 2 or 3 laps.
Hamilton went wide at turn 1 and lost out on his time, which I was trying to cut in with, but he just lost his brakes on the inside of turn 1 and ran over, and he's had to back out this lap time as well. He is on the hard compound tyre, but still, Hamilton's still not happy with those brakes, and they're still not up to temperature as well.
I've got a feeling it's Lewis not happy in himself.
Yeah, this will be the brake. Look, coming into turn 1, watch, the car was unsettled turning in.
So any little problem, it's going to things. I don't think we're going to have a good result from Lewis, but this is Lewis all along, right? The other week, Lewis, bad on Friday.
2 weeks ago.
Bad on Saturday.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He wasn't anything.
Bad on Friday, bad on Saturday, bad half the race on Sunday, and then all of a sudden, bang, there's Lewis winning.
In Bahrain, yeah. Renier knew Jean-Pierre Jarier was in qualifying. Who was the race? Peroni was the French driver. Prost as well at Monaco. Latifi, Jacques Latif.
Latif, that's it. I nearly said Nicholas Latifi.
I was going to say Latifi, yeah. It's Jacques Latif, yeah.
Latif, he looked just like him. He got the eyebrows and the eyes that are just like him. And that helmet being white.
As we
Elf, I think he had on his...
He did, the elf on the side, Jacques Latif.
Not the elves that are doing the rounds at the moment. We don't have naughty elves at this house.
We can't. Well, to be honest with you, we can't keep track of them. They would end up probably in a cupboard.
I like that.
And getting trapped. There's the top of the hotel where all the Formula 1 people are staying this weekend, and I mean all of them.
I love the swimming pool there. It's so enclosed and so.
Will Buxton was in it actually a couple of days ago.
Well, that's typical of Will, isn't it? I bet he had a drink in his hand.
He did. Yeah. But yeah, all the Formula 1 people are staying at the Yas Hotel on site. It's a biosphere and a closed event. Yeah.
Does he still work for NBC?
No, F1 TV works for him.
F1 TV now.
NBC don't broadcast F1 anymore. We found out last time it's ESPN. Who take the Sky coverage, I've since found out. As this is Hamilton on a push lap now. He's made turn 1 okay. This is down towards 5 and 6 the chicane. Lovely through there. The hairpin at turn 7. As I said in the track guide, it's a double-barreled apex, and it tends to compromise your exit down the long back straightaway. The longest straight in Formula 1, this. And I'm slightly disappointed we're not going to have more overtakes in the race, of course, because Abu Dhabi doesn't really deliver great races.
The thing about Abu Dhabi is similar to last week in half of it.
Yeah.
Right? What is Abu Dhabi's track has got is a bit like Bahrain's track 2.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, and it's like the middle bit of Bahrain 1 has been taken out, made bigger, and put on its side. You know,
it's practically what it is. Yeah,
it's a really strange track because it looks like they've stolen it from Bahrain.
It does look like they stole it from Bahrain.
You go like that, and it's Bahrain.
Yeah, easily. Actually, I can see what you mean. The driver tracker as well. I'm sure you're all watching.
The best thing about this circuit is that Yas Marina Hotel.
That lights up in the night as well.
Yeah, because drivers do not really get... Maybe it's the last race of the season, the problem, but they don't really get into this circuit, do they?
No, they don't, no. They can never dial it in.
I think it's one of their favourites for off-track rather than on.
Yeah.
It's what it represents as last race of the season.
It's now its more traditional slot, hasn't it? I think it's been the last race since 2014. But of course,
of course, money dominates.
Yeah,
because it's in the contract that they have to be the last.
That's Bottas waving to Lewis Hamilton in the car down the back straight down towards turn 11, and Hamilton also waving back. Well, Bottas knows he's not really
Australia
safe.
also has in its contract to be the first race of the season.
Yeah, Australia's got the contract to be the first, bar this year, of course, where it was Austria because of the pandemic. But I think it's in the contract, it's Australia's the first, Silverstone's the middle, and Abu Dhabi's the end. Although nobody likes Abu Dhabi that much as the season ends. I must admit, I would have liked Brazil. I like Brazil as a season end. It's a good track. But
Sergei's win last week was amazing. Sergei's on the radio now.
He's got loose belts, he's saying. That's what we're hearing over our radio as well. But I have loose belts, and that's why
After all, this could be, for a year, Sergei's, after winning a Grand Prix after 100-odd starts, this could be his last Grand Prix possibly ever.
He's the longest driver in Formula 1 history without a Grand Prix victory.
And
to clinch it,
he clinched it.
Longest one for a podium goes to Hulkenberg, but he had that year off in 2011, so it puts him.
I don't think Alesi won one, did he?
Alesi won in '95.
Did he?
At Canada? Yeah, so he won one. Jean Alesi won one race.
One
on his birthday.
And yet was he had the most 2s and 3s of any other driver for years.
Most podiums for it. Yeah. Jean Alesi and James Hunt, the only two drivers to win races on their birthday. James won 77 at Zandvoort.
And James would say, "I don't remember, dear boy."
Yeah, he probably won.
Because a bit of a celebration afterwards.
I do actually understand he was actually had a very wild evening. Which was, again, in those days, it was different time. Everybody's been comparing the Mazepin situation with Formula 1 drivers in the 70s. It was a different time. You cannot compare the two.
Well,
and even some of the things in the 70s are questionable.
To be honest, I don't like even talking about Mazepin.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I was thinking to myself, do I block out his name in 2021 or not? No. But I'm going to go try and talk the least about him on the track. Because I honestly, Mazepin he's an aggressive driver, and he hasn't got the best personality in the world as well, and he needs to improve a lot. I mean, one thing that really annoyed me, and you'll see it in the preview show, as you go looking for that, I said as well, it really annoys me that he said, as a Formula 1 driver, I must do better. How about as a person to try and do better?
As a human
being. Yeah, really annoyed me as well. But back to the business. We've still got one more race with a decent Haas lineup with Kevin Magnussen, who I don't think is that bad anymore as an aggressive driver.
Best is he filmed everything, so there was no way he could deny it.
He tried to deny it, saying that he wasn't the one who posted it.
It doesn't matter whether he posted it.
It was posted,
It doesn't matter who posted it. He filmed it, right?
Yeah. I was just saying something outside the commentary box I had to listen to, but it looks okay. Sainz at the moment on the track. He's just behind Ocon. Ocon's going to pass him down the straight towards turn 11. But yeah, you're right. He filmed everything as well. He
convicted himself there.
I mean, it's a bit like
Max Verstappen on the softs. the McLarens are out on the softs as well, aren't they?
Yes, I think they are. Let's have a look. Lando's out on the softs and Sainz on the soft. Yes, the two McLarens are out there on soft tyres as well, trying to get some running in.
It feels like Arab land, doesn't it? It just feels like the Arab you've been in an Arab country with everything, all the buildings so white, and because and the one of difference this is there's loads of trees around this circuit.
Yeah, different to Bahrain, which doesn't really have any.
I think it's one of the prettiest circuits.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, it's
certainly the cleanest.
They sweep it, they keep it clean, they repaint everything nearly every year.
Not like Bahrain where the rubbish things hadn't been emptied a year later.
Yeah. But this circuit as well, it is a modern facility as well.
I mean, all the glass. Who goes and cleans that all the time?
I know, yeah. I mean, there was something as well.
Must have one of those Karachi things.
The most famous story I remember is Malaysia as well, because Formula One raced there in March, and they had all the podium celebrations and all that, like all the champagne bottles. And then when MotoGP got there to set up their podium, they'd found that stuck onto the inside of the carpet was the confetti from the F1.
Cleared anything up.
Yeah, and all the champagne bottles were still there that were left around. So
there's Ferrari World in the distance if you're watching on the TV.
The fastest roller coaster in the world as well.
Yeah, it's massive complex.
And it's always disappointed me as well that nobody ever talks about Ferrari World, which is located just the opposite of Turn 7, as well, with the massive funding that they've got there as well. It really is a Ferrari circuit in the East, really, isn't it? It's a fantastic
facility. A lot of funding comes from Abu Dhabi, doesn't it? For Ferrari. And
Eddie Jordan, of course, chickened out of going on the roller coaster in 2010.
Bahrain fund a lot of McLaren.
Yes, they do, yeah.
A lot of Arab money is in Formula One.
2 seconds. Carlos Sainz was saying he's losing some of the CLS as well on the front.
And it's a part of the world where they're mad for Formula One.
Yeah. Oh, completely as well. It's disappointing the fans aren't here this weekend because it always erupts with passion. And just like the Japanese fans, actually. They all usually stay.
I miss the Japanese hats this year. Even with the DRS flaps.
Yeah,
that come open.
Yeah, I love those.
They pull a little thing here, and the DRS flap opens on the hat.
I'm always disappointed that Megan never says she's going to do the Japanese Grand Prix. In 2 seconds, Verstappen's just gone fast on the softs on 137.378.
She told you to when you asked her. She said on your bike.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm always disappointed she never says, I'm going to do the Japanese Grand Prix. Yes, it's an early morning start, but I love Japan so much. It is a fantastic race. I must admit, I love it in Suzuka, but I'd love it if it was at Fuji again. Fuji as well just gave it some flavour. And I wish they'd alternate, actually. 1 year at Fuji, 1 year at Suzuka.
The thing was, Japan used to dominate Formula One in the 70s and 80s because of the engines and things like that. And
Honda, Yamaha came in.
Yeah, and they were very, they like in MotoGP, where the engine manufacturers in MotoGP are virtually all Japanese.
Yep. Suzuki. Yeah, you're right. They all are partially Japanese, and MotoGP as well, who concluded their 14 race season the other week, are disappointed that they couldn't race in Japan.
And with a lot of injuries and a lot of serious
it's been a weird year.
It's been a bad year of hand and foot. There's been quite a few that have been clonked by their own bikes as they've gone over.
I must admit, I'm slightly worried if thinking about all of the injuries that we've had across every single class. That's Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, MotoGP, Moto 2, Moto 3, Moto E even, Formula E, British touring cars, World touring cars, things like that. There have been quite a lot of crashes and quite a lot of injuries, and it must be because of the condensed schedule.
Well, that's caused the number of the MotoGP lot to not, including our own Cal Crutchlow, not to want to ride next season as a full-time rider. But we're lucky enough to have Sam and what's the other lad? The other, he got injured at the
Bradley
end.
Smith, Sam Lowes.
There's the other lad that came from British Superbikes.
That's Alex Lowes as well, the other one.
No, there's another one, and he was doing really well. And do you know, I can't remember his name.
I know. John McPhee was there, of course.
Scottish John McPhee.
I can't remember. Of course, Sam Lowe's famously lost out in the title by 1 point, and that's all
Jack
because
somebody.
Miller. No, that's Australian.
Oh, Miller. What a character. What a brilliant lad Jack Miller is.
I can't remember. Here's Callum Ilott. 11th. Here's a complete history. Euro F3 2016 was 6th. 2017 he was 4th. He then promoted to GP3 in 2018 where he came 3rd. 2019 11th in F2, then runner-up this year in F2. And somehow he's not in the Haas seat, and Mazepin is.
It's called money.
Yeah, money talks. As that is
It's
Robert
Schwartzman in a Ferrari uniform.
the Russian who's actually got talent in the junior formula.
Very good little driver.
I must admit,
Yuri Vips as well.
Vips as well. Sonoda is looking to get a Formula One drive.
Tsunoda,
There he is.
There is Tsunoda, Yuki Tsunoda.
Who looks to get the drive. He's got the super license points
Good win
now.
last weekend.
Yeah, he's got the super license points. He's doing the postseason test at Abu Dhabi as well.
Yeah, it's a young driver's test. That's why Alonso's there.
Yep, I know. Alonso's also out on the track in between this session as well in his Renault 2005 World Championship car. So V10 will be scrubbing around.
And
a 40-year-old can fit into that. We've seen that car.
and
he can fit in that. He can fit in it. Yeah.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
They refused him
to do the postseason
test
with Racing Point, and they refused Sainz as well to go to Ferrari, which I think is a bit ridiculous. I don't see why. 100 on the front of the Haas car.
Well, the reason they said was...
Is it their 100th race? Sorry, is it Haas's 100th race? 2016? I think it is. I think it's Haas's 100th Grand Prix.
Been there about 4 years, haven't they? 4 or 5 years?
That means we've done over 100 races.
Oh.
I mean, we've done over 500, I think, now combined. But you've done a lot more. But I can't...
That's Schumacher there in the thing there.
Commentating
in the Haas there with the 5-0 on the front.
Yeah.
The 5... It's something to do with
No,
dad's
not
car?
this one. His racing number will be 47.
47. I was going to say.
Yeah, but 50 this weekend because it's the driver number.
Because it was 4-7.
Yeah, for Michael. Yeah,
for Michael.
Yeah, the combined age of all the family members' birthdays is 47. So that's the dates, like 21, 11,
but
4.
But it also says.
And it's 47 for Michael. As well, and 4 was his karting number, and 7 is Michael's.
When I saw 50 on his car this morning, I thought, well, I can't work out what's going on with the stories.
It's not the 50 was that's just the allocated number of the reserve driver for Haas, because Fittipaldi's got 51 on his car, and Haas have got 50. For the other reserve driver.
Yeah.
So it's just the 50 and 51.
Sky are doing an interview with Valtteri, and the lad is very much under pressure.
Yeah.
He's got a contract, but he's not performing.
It's crucially Mercedes.
Just like with Alex Albon, you know, as soon as you don't perform in Formula One and the top teams, you come under a lot of pressure.
Crucially, as you said last weekend, it is a Mercedes contract, which means you could race in DTM, Formula E, even the World Endurance Championship is that got Mercedes.
As long as they honour, the money in the contract.
Yeah.
There must be
there's clauses. I will make a bold prediction and say that I think Russell will be in the car in 2021. I think something will happen over the winter.
I think Toto has almost suggested that George's future is in that team.
Yeah, whether it's 21 or 22, but either way, Russell will be in that car very soon. Ideally, I would put Russell in 22 when the new regulations come in, because we were expecting the regulations next year, but because of the pandemic, it's delayed it one more season.
I think the youngsters will adapt to the new regulations more than the older generation.
Yeah.
I think that's what Lewis has been thinking as well, with the length of his contract, what he was prepared to do.
I must admit as well, actually, we're going to have to interrupt myself because there's a yellow flag on the circuit somewhere. And that's why Albon spun it. Coming out 10-13, so our pictures are a little bit too off the beat there, but coming through the chicane at 12 and 13, just catches the rear tyres over the bump and goes off the track. But he's got going now, green flag out, sector 3.
Alex's best performance, best result.
Bahrain and...
In Bahrain.
Yeah, third in Bahrain and third in Mugello. So 2 podiums. He's done enough, it seems, to keep his contract. Although
we was told
yeah.
that it was going to be they're going to keep him for another 6 months. But like Josh just said, it doesn't mean he's going to be the first choice driver.
Yeah,
he could be the third choice driver in 6 months. But I think he's done enough because they admitted that it was partly their fault.
Yeah. They needed to time. I mean, look, that's oversteer as well, and he doesn't like oversteer at Albon. So that was, again, the centre problem.
The spin there was quite violent.
Yeah, it was coming to the chicanes. That would have hurt the neck as well if he wasn't expecting it. Because it was quite a G-force spin. It was turning to the left.
This track, we can't actually see the dashboard.
Yeah, just coming... Well, you can at the night later on. But, yeah, just coming through.
Yeah, look.
Turns to the left, and the car floats towards the right. Yeah, not good.
Was it?
Yeah,
the rear tyre
overloading.
It hit that bump and overloaded itself and just spun around.
The front wing hit the sleeping policeman, the orange curb, and he's very lucky there not to have that front wing completely fall off. Although these wings are stronger than they look. You can literally stand on them. And
everybody's got such a small rear wing this weekend.
Low downforce track, isn't it, really?
Track.
I mean, I must admit, I'm surprised we didn't have low wings last time out in Shakir. They were all the same type of wing we saw in Bahrain.
Yeah.
I mean, the tyre compounds remain the same as well.
Same place, but different race.
I mean, I must admit, I'm surprised we didn't do anything like that at Silverstone.
Why has Silverstone got the ability to turn themselves into an Indy-style track?
Yes, they've got the national circuit, which is what the British Touring Car uses, and they've got the...
I thought that was too small, though.
And they've got the international loop, which is the...
Although when you think about that, Bahrain... that
same about lap time, yeah.
About the same, yeah.
But yeah, they've got the international circuit, which goes through the first sector, Abbey Farm Village, and then goes off straight before and back down the hangar straight into the last few corners.
You've been reading my T-shirt.
No, I just know the names. I've commentated on enough esports races at Silverstone this year, as well as the actual 2 races at Silverstone. They're embedded in my mind. I think last weekend we did the CRL at... I want to say... Oh, no, it wasn't Brazil, was it?
When you got 6 hours at Silverstone.
Oh, that's annoying. That was a long day to cover the 6 hours of Silverstone. That was 2 years ago now.
People are speaking in our ears as we talk to you.
It's just compromise at turn 9. I think they're talking to Albon as well. This is Perez on the track now, down towards the braking zone for turn number 8. He's got through that nicely. The problem is, of course, as we were saying, with the pandemic, it's forced us off site completely this year. And I've not been to one racetrack this year. I am very much itching to get going in 2021, and hopefully with pre-season testing, wherever that is. I've heard rumours he's actually going to be at Silverstone. Which I think is
good for you.
It'd be good for me. It's 2 hours away, but I don't think they're going to test at Silverstone in the cold, wet of March.
AlphaTauri just holding back there for Perez. To fly and lap in.
And Gasly's had his lap time deleted for track limits at turn 201 and has lost his following lap as well. So there you go. Just seeing it on the timing monitor. So they have deleted the following lap time.
That pink Merc is gripping the track quite well this weekend.
Outside chance of winning last weekend, they managed it. Are they going to do something this weekend? Although Lewis is...
They did win last weekend.
I know, they had an outside chance of winning, and they took it. And could they do it again this weekend? It's not impossible, but I must admit, with Hamilton and Bottas now back, the glue of the Mercedes team might just stick a little bit.
The pods on the side of that car are actually like infrared pods that are reading the tyres.
The information on the side of...
The different colours of the tyres.
Stroll has just got 1 on the side, whereas Perez has 2 at the moment, so they can just easily pop those on and take them off anytime they like. They can't run them in the race, though, at the moment, as that's a T-camera as well, actually, on the side of Stroll, so maybe that one is for the weekend, but definitely, as you said, they had 2 on the side of Perez's car.
That's strange, because, you know...
It could be a laser, it could not be the T-cam, because the T-cam's on the top of the car, so it looks like they're okay. I know that Formula One are looking at introducing in 2021 a 360 camera, similar to what IndyCar have.
See Bono on the pictures now. George said a massive thank you to Bono and the rest of Lewis's team for what they did for him. He said Bono was such a calming influence.
Yeah, last weekend.
And what's the name of the girl? Not Angie, the other one that is the press girl. right? There was nice pictures this morning of when he just after he got out of his car, she even put her arm around him and hugged him and that and because he was really upset.
And he was, yeah, Russell.
But he's got this mindset that 5 minutes later he wouldn't thought, oh well, life goes on.
Yeah, he had a gin.
That's George in a nutshell.
Yeah,
apparently his mum was crying and everything like that.
He had a gin, of course. I think he told Will Blackstone. And many people are saying, "Oh, Netflix were with." Hang on 2 seconds. This is Gasly with his lifetime deleted at turn 21. Many people said, "Oh, it's the Netflix curse." They were filming with Mercedes this weekend. Actually, I would like to tell you, Netflix were not. I repeat, not with Mercedes last weekend. They were following Racing Point and Renault. Why this has just come up on the timing screen, I don't know. I don't know how it's done that.
I think I touched it.
Oh, but we've got Renault with 21 laps completed first one Ocon as well. They're doing a debrief going forward.
I had to admit it because everyone saw me do it.
Oh, I didn't know you pressed it actually.
If I said they'd do it, done it, you'd blame me.
Probably.
It's a line from Just Good Friends.
Which is another great show. Just having some more things come on through. It doesn't feel like the last Dare turn. I'll admit that. It doesn't, does it? Well, it's not the last
It
bit.
does
last
feel like a lot of the young lads are studying like mad everything that's happening.
Just ready because they're going to do it in the postseason test. That's Albon saying he's got massive talk at the back.
It's like first day back at school for some of these young lads because it's a young driver's test this week, next week.
With Fernando Alonso. I'm looking forward to see what you could do.
Yeah, very young driver. Fernando Alonso.
I've heard some
remember
good
that
things.
name?
Yeah.
I've heard some good things about young Fernando. People say he's lying about his age.
I think he is. He said he was 19, didn't he?
Yeah, not 40.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, you're right. He's 40. But yeah, Fernando Alonso, the first
and
time.
there is the lad that's about 19. How old is he?
Pietro Fittipaldi, around about 22, 23.
Is he?
Yeah. Not one of the
He's
youngest.
nearer 19 than Fernando is.
How on earth?
I don't think our chat is working because
No,
we haven't had anybody talk to us.
I don't think it is. We have been having internet issues as well, so I'll double check on the actual YouTube chat as well on a separate monitor. But,
Everything
17 minutes to go.
Everything is cleaned like mad.
No, we are still broadcasting. Still, and I think our chat's broken.
There's stuff coming in our ears as well. So anybody that's trying to get through to us on the chat, and we're not replying because it's not been received by us.
Yeah, I think our chat's broken. So we'll have a look and see. Actually, let's see.
Every graphic is playing up.
Let's go to live chat instead of top chat, and that might fix it. But now I think our actual graphic is playing up. We've had 2 seconds. Ocon's been saying that he's been doing. Oh. The front wing balance is wrong on Ocon's car.
And ever since I complained about the over the air about the
timing monitor.
No, the
driver tracker.
3D.
Oh yeah.
Driver tracker that's on there. They've improved it,
but it's not working still.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you notice as well, it's black now. Our timing monitor. It was white when we had it in Emilia Romagna and Turkey, but it's gone back to black.
Sounds like an Italian actress, doesn't it?
I know, Emilia Romagna, yeah. I like it, though, because this timing screen that you can see on your screen here, it matches the F1 graphics and our graphics at the top.
I like Days of Our Lives where they go, so-and-so is now being played by so-and-so.
Yeah.
So you just, hang on, how are we supposed to recognise him? We're the viewers.
Yeah, he's going where?
Can you use his name, please? Because we don't know who you're talking to. Oh, it's him. Yeah. He's been in it forever.
He's back.
But he's changed. His face has changed.
I loved.
And then they changed back.
Yeah, in the next episode.
You know.
I loved what
been off for a week, and they've changed the actor.
Yeah.
Not just written him out, changed the actor for a week.
Esteban Ocon. Well, famously, that happened in Doctor Who. Actually, the actor who played Jamie McCrimmon as well, who's Fraser Hines, in one of the stories, developed chickenpox, and luckily, it happened in a story where they were in the land of fiction.
Yeah.
So what they did was they removed. They said Jamie lost his face, and then they just put another actor in for an episode because they said that his face had changed. And then as soon as he recovered, he popped back. So another actor played Jamie.
There are rumours that Fraser wants to come back to Emmerdale Farm, even though he was killed off screen. Though.
Oh, that's easy these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anybody can come back as well. I mean, look at what happened last night in EastEnders. We won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but we wouldn't have think that happened in 30 odd years of television.
Yeah, one line where they
change the history.
change the history. You know, the very scene before was supposed to be the way it could happen, and like
next thing, I was like, oh, right, okay.
You know,
we've got a problem with Esteban Ocon's onboard camera. It's lagging slightly coming to the last few corners, but this has been an okay lap for him. It's not great.
Been an okay season for Ocon. It's his first season back.
I got a podium last time out.
I thought myself that he shouldn't go trying too hard. That was always his problem before.
Yeah.
Why he crashed so much.
Kvyat's been told to downshift.
And once this becomes the norm for him, Ocon will then improve as a driver. Like he has, he's had a lot of good things said about him.
I'm expecting big things for Esteban Ocon in the next future.
Well, Toto, eventually, I said to you yesterday that Toto has suggested eventually, it will be Ocon and George.
That's a good lineup as well, and I think Ocon.
Because they're looking for 5 years in the future.
Yeah, Ocon next year and the year after is going to have Fernando Alonso, a world champion, debuting alongside him back at the team. He's going to learn so much from him. He's got to soak up all that information from having a world champion as a teammate, and he'll be. By the time he gets to Mercedes, he'll be dominant.
Having a world champion alongside you as a teammate does. Ask Lewis, right? Jensen taught him how to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, what was him and Fernando in his first year? That was always loggerheads.
Yeah,
I think 2007 needs to be made into a movie. It was that kind of year, and then 2008 could be
a lot of drivers. Kevin Magnussen says that the only reason he got a second chance in Formula One was the fact that the things that Jensen had taught him about letting things go and just not over dramatizing things and not letting things get into your head, which is what Jensen does. He tells these teammates that it's what's the point, and
that was passed on as well to George.
And George does the same.
I mean, George yesterday put out the end scene of Le Mans '66 where. In the movie,
don't ruin it.
Everyone remembers in the movie as well.
That was '66.
Yeah. In the movie, as well, there's a line that says, "You promised me the drive, not the win," and that's it.
Isn't it the story of how Ford with their Ford
GT
beat Ferrari
with Ken Miles,
yeah,
and Kyle Shelby, who I think them two are. Without a doubt, some of the greatest minds in racing history, because they turned around that GT40 and won Le Mans. Although Ken Miles didn't win Le Mans, even though he crossed the line in first.
Well, every so often,
the distance was wrong.
Things change, doesn't it? Like who was it who suddenly put the engine into the rear of the car? Wasn't it?
It was Chapman. Chapman, yeah, Colin Chapman
for Lotus. Put the engine in the rear of the car instead of the front of the car.
Yeah. And immediately
it led to a lot more speed.
And then, of course, we had Gordon Murray in the airflow days as well.
Yeah,
the
6 wheels.
6 wheels on the Tyrrell.
There was the fan car.
Yeah, that was Sweden.
Yeah.
Won its one and only race, only for it to come back as well. Many people say, oh, the fan car never came back. The double diffuser was effectively the fan car.
Yeah, but also the fan car was a victim of its own success because the argument to get rid of it by the other teams was that it was giving an unfair advantage, and they also claimed it was unsafe.
Yeah, because it was kicking up stones, which it was, to be fair.
It was flying stones up. Yeah.
Although I'd like to point out, I disrespect that issue because no car could get close to it to have stones flicking up with it.
It is also, all of a sudden, it's a problem in Formula One. And for the same person, Pierre Gasly has twice in the recent weeks got a stone flicked up and hit his hand.
Yeah, Bahrain and Shakir, didn't he? He had stones hit his index finger as well.
It does seem strange that nobody's talking to us.
I think our chat's broken as well. We'll get in touch. If our chat's broken, at Joshua Birch 99 on Twitter, and I'll get in touch via that. We've got TweetDecks.
And we're back with pictures coming up.
Back in Abu Dhabi, not checkered flag. 10 minutes to go at the moment. As we're just having a look as Vettel is out on the circuit right about now. So last 10 minutes of practice one, a session that isn't really useful to the data. Later on will be more useful.
Not night time as well.
Yeah. Reminder that...
Look at Perez go away from Vettel.
That was Vettel's back
as they came round that corner on the top of the loop, the little S, right? It was slow for both of them. They were quite close together, and now Vettel is catching Perez again.
But Perez gunned it, didn't he? Yeah. Perez actually
gunned it down that straight.
Reminder that you'll be back with me for FP2, but
and Stroll's doing the same right now. Verstappen is after him, matching him pace for pace, and Kvyat's car looks almost stationary compared with them two.
Yeah. Reminder that Hazel Southwell will be joining me in the commentary box virtually for Free Practice 3 tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock UK time. That's going to be a great session. For the last hour, Megan rejoins me for qualifying as well. I think we're all together for the race going forward.
Still in negotiations.
We're just watching Sergio Perez as well with his victory last time out at Shakir. Did what Pierre Gasly did actually, and just sit on the podium and sort of have a moment to themselves.
Not a lot happening.
No, there isn't, is there? In the first session.
I've always said that the practice one is where you get used to a circuit, find the braking zones, the acceleration zones, the turning points, and so it can be a bit dull. I think Ferrari have taken that bit of kit off their back rear wing.
They have now, they're just giving it back to both Seb and... Verstappen's had his lap time deleted for track limits to turn 21.
Yeah.
And they had the previous lap time, so that is 4 lap times in total Verstappen have deleted, because he's lost that one, and then he lost that one, and then he lost that one. So that's 4 lap times deleted there for Verstappen. And that's going to compromise his end of the run. Verstappen's done 20 laps, 28 for Bottas, Ocon 27, but the most in the session, I think, is Bottas on 28.
So how many of these cars will retire after this race?
What do you mean retire?
Well, never used again.
None of them. They're all going to be used next year.
They're all going to be used because that's unusual.
Yeah, because of COVID, the regulations state that these cars have to be used again next year.
Yeah.
So all that will change is the flooring of the aerodynamics. There'll be some cosmetic changes, but they will be the same chassis going into 2021. They have to use them because 2021 was supposed to be the brand new aero look of Formula One.
Luckily for us, we haven't lost any drivers, but we have lost 3 chassis this year.
Yeah, all of
which is actually lower than normal.
Yeah, what did we lose again? We obviously lost Grosjean, then we lost Albon. We lost Grosjean's chassis with that big accident. We lost Albon's after that crash in Bahrain, and we lost one more, didn't we, early on in the year?
Yeah,
with a fire, didn't we? It burned.
Yeah, it was. I think it was one of the Alfa Romeos.
Yeah. Oh, I think I want to say Raikkonen.
I want to say Raikkonen.
Yeah, early on in the season. 5 months, 17 races.
But having said that,
race.
These things resurrect.
Yeah.
There is a famous thing of the Le Mans where one of the P1 cars.
Yeah.
One of the big.
Big powerful ones.
I think it was an Audi or a Toyota.
Toyota, yeah.
Was about 5 or 6 years ago. Had a fire.
Yeah.
Completely burnt out. Right, complete wreck.
Yeah.
That very car won the next year.
It was amazing, wasn't it? The rebuild job on that. Yeah, it was Toyota.
It shows how strong the chassis are.
Because
the only thing that makes that car the same thing is the chassis, isn't it?
Yes. And next year, of course, in Le Mans, they're going to have the LMPDH, the Le Mans Daytona hybrid class, which combines the IMSA and WEC rules together. And guess who's off to IMSA? Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah,
but in LMP2 class. So he won't have that quick run.
He might come across his dad, but his dad races in a different series.
GTE Pro. And he would be in LMP2.
But he might. He said he might come across him at the circuits.
It's in the same bubble. I found that ridiculous, though.
He meant in a racing sense.
Yeah.
Right, because obviously they're very close.
That's something that the Brundles have never done because they've never raced against each other, I don't think.
Actually, they've raced with each other.
They've raced with each other in the same
Le
car at Le Mans. Yeah. And I think, actually thinking about it, Martin Brundle in 2010 did a guest race at the Formula BMW
George
Championship.
Do a Le Mans?
No, George's never done Le Mans.
there's been quite a few.
Hulkenberg's done Le Mans.
Hulkenberg did.
Yeah,
but quite a few of the younger drivers from GP2
I've done Le Mans.
Mans.
Yeah. But going forward,
if George had done one when he was there.
But just saying about that as well. Brundle and Alex and Martin have raced together.
Unless we've increased the colour, I think the Ferrari overalls are back to the normal colour.
Yeah, it looks like they've slowly
the car
phased
looks
out
more darker, a bit darker than normal.
They phased out the colour that we had earlier.
Awful colour earlier on in the season.
I mean, I like the one that we had in Mugello for their anniversary, the burgundy colour.
Burgundy. Yeah.
But that was a nice colour.
And
4 minutes to go in this session. And that is the press officer for Ferrari. And Ferrari, of course, had a big press day as Luca Camilleri has retired with immediate effect.
That camera is what she uses to film bits for the web page.
Yeah, the behind the scenes bits
yeah,
as well.
It's
fabulous boat there in the harbour as well. It's an all wooden design.
Yes.
Alongside super yachts as well. That's fantastic. And of course,
that's the one that takes you on trips around the bay.
Must be. Although all the yachts here this weekend are for the team. I know that David Coulthard has brought his along, and Will Buxton has got one from one of the other team members. Not his own boat personally, but he's got one with a friend of his.
Yeah, it makes sense if you instead of having a hotel room that's all the same, you've got something you.
Yeah, beautiful sea there. Look at that. That is beautiful.
You feel at home in.
Yeah, I would say as well, I agree with you, Abu Dhabi certainly is the prettiest Grand Prix of the year. Even better than Monaco, because this place is just amazing to look at.
It's the money, isn't it?
Yeah. Monaco as well, it's tight, twisty. This is free and open. Look, it's got a drag strip there alongside just the track as well.
Wasn't there an incident with the drag strip somewhere?
Yeah, I think it was at this track as well. We had issues with it.
Yeah.
Of course, the bit that always terrifies me, and I know you said the same thing, is the big Boeing 747 that does the roll over the start-finish straight at the beginning of the pre-show.
Yeah.
One wrong mistake and it wipes out everybody. It's just so that is the scariest one. I don't think they're doing it this year actually. I know we had something similar in Bahrain, but they weren't allowed in the same part of the track. Into the last 2 minutes end of the session, the final free practice one of 2020. We'll be back on air at 12:50 this afternoon for the second practice session.
Isn't it under
yeah, go on.
Isn't it under the rules of flying that it's only when you're coming into land and things that you can be close to another aircraft?
Yeah.
And with the two aircraft that are based at the circuits, you have to have the only time you can fly a big thing like that over is if there's a airport attached to the.
Yeah. There must be an airport somewhere near here.
Martin was going on about it. It's it's about the
helicopter pilot.
The things the helicopter is allowed to do as well. I mean, in night races, the helicopter isn't allowed to swoop.
Yeah, he's got to stay at a certain altitude, isn't it, all around? And I know they're flying a lot of drones at this place as well. Schumacher comes across the line, stays 18th. Verstappen stays top. But that's I never thought I'd say that again. These two have had rivalries in junior Formula.
They said about the drones.
Yeah.
Right, and they're safer than the helicopters. Yeah, they are safer than the helicopters.
Completely.
But they can still,
drop.
If they drop and hurt, I mean, in football, you're not allowed to fire a drone unless it's at the half time and things like that.
I know exactly how it is. Qualified drone pilot, I am with a license. But yeah, I know.
He's droning on again.
I know how dangerous they can be as well, and they're quite hard to control, especially in a crosswind situation as well.
Yeah, how many people have got little tiny drones for Christmas for their kids in recent years?
Oh, they're a nightmare.
And then knocked over their favourite ornament.
Honestly, the smaller drones are harder to fly than the bigger drones.
Yeah.
Because the smaller drones obviously got smaller propellers and they're easily affected by the wind. The bigger drones have got bigger propellers and you can easily get those up in the air and control it. Checker flag out in 10 seconds time.
They have revolutionised dramas, especially the soaps. It's so easy to send one up. And the police.
Yeah.
The police use drones a lot. So you might not be able to see a police car, but you still might be being done because the drone might be above you.
Yeah. I love them.
Traffic use drones.
There used to be a thing as well when they first came out about 10 years ago, drones. that people who were stuck in traffic jams just sent them up and have a look what was going on down the front. I seem to remember a
Somebody
BBC,
doing that.
yeah, BBC News article. Checker flag is out, and the final free practice one of the season has concluded. And yeah, Bahrain did actually get in trouble.
We have been broadcasting, haven't we?
Yes, we have, yeah. Bahrain did
actually... No one's chatted to us.
We're on air for 1 hour 35 minutes now. I think our chat's broken as well. We'll probably get more.
Well, I miss it. I miss talking to these people all over the world. Right, we've got people in Australia, Canada, Brazil. You know, Netherlands, Belgium,
big one. Yeah.
Belgium.
Hopefully, free practice 2, the chat will be working. And we've had a lot of Wi-Fi issues this morning, and it appears so have Sky and so have FOM. It's the last day of the season. I'll tell you what, though, I'm not going to say it, but if you follow the YouTube channel and you follow what happened on Facebook as well, something always happens in Abu Dhabi in terms of technology. So, let's just keep your fingers crossed that it's going to go smoothly.
I've noticed one of the camera shots, which is famous at this circuit, where you go on the double S's, isn't there this year.
It's not, is it?
No.
I've just noticed that as well. Yeah, you're right. It's not there. They've changed the camera positions.
Yeah, they have.
This is Verstappen.
I wonder if that's because there's a reduction in the number of crew there.
Yeah, there's a big reduction here. There's not a lot of camera people around.
Because I used to like that one.
Yeah, I did. I think they're installing tonight a long run camera like we see in the pit lane on the wire to swing down the back straightaway.
That's another. They have that in especially in the Champions League.
Yeah, that
goes across the pitch, and it can be very off-putting if you're not used to it for the players. All of a sudden, they're looking around and they outside, just on the top of their eye, they see this camera.
Yeah,
and they think, "Is there another ball on the pitch?"
Yeah, where's that?
Things like that. I know of players that have thought that. You know.
Do you remember a couple of years ago there was 2 balls on the pitch and the second ball scored? Do you remember? Because one of the team was going one way with one ball, and the other was going the other, and nobody knows what was happening. I can't remember how that one actually went
I've always believed that you need not 3 people and a spare doing the things. There should be 2 behind each goal, 1 behind each goal.
Yeah.
That's what happens in ice hockey. You have 1 behind each goal.
And then you always get it back on.
They say they can do it electronically. Everything electronically, but...
also, the fact is that because the pit lane exit here is different... because it runs on the underneath of the track, the drivers are allowed to do their practice starts on the grid. So let's have a look at what Max Verstappen can do then. On the track, comes through, revs up to first gear. Now he's got 3 cars in front of him, so he's stuck there for around about 45 seconds again. So this gives him a good advantage what's going on. I can see someone's walked in back at the box. You can see the hands just below the timing monitor. Varnish, over here. Yeah, just come through, it's down here. And there's Bush there as well. Then after the varnish, after I made a box a couple of weeks ago. Right, here we go, Verstappen's on, raises up to about 12,000 RPM, puts in first gear, control the wheel spin and you're away. And it's not a great start actually from Verstappen. He lost the rears just a little bit. I think that must be because those tyres have done around about 16 laps. He just couldn't get the acceleration away. But that was an okay start going on to it. So, the varnish is gone. And that's the first one of the session completed.
It'd be for the new shoe rack.
Yeah, that's on the side of the track, side of the hall for us. So all the cars have completed their lap times. They've done their practice starts. Hamilton, Raikkonen, Perez, Bottas, Ocon, just doing it now, according to the driver tracker. As we look over Yas Island, and this is the result. Max Verstappen fastest in a pretty useless free practice one, to be fair. We'll get more data in FP2.
End of the season.
Yeah, end of the season. It always goes there. Bottas second, Ocon third, Albon, Hamilton an impressive 5th on the turn, but he was on the hard tyres, so he can go quicker. Stroll, Perez, Kvyat, Gasly, Raikkonen completes the top 10.
Christian was saying that one of the things even at Bahrain was the fact that they and Force Racing Point was saying the same, that they don't have a lot of spares at this time of the year.
They don't know. They've all got to be careful, haven't they? Yeah.
In fact, when the accident happened with Grosjean, they had to fly the stuff out. And I believe Racing Point had to fly quite a few things out as well. For Stroll.
Sainz 11th, Leclerc 12th, and Norris, Vettel, Kubica, Russell, Latifi, Schumacher, Fittipaldi, and Ricciardo complete the 20 of Ricciardo, of course, having that fuel pressure issue. Right, we're back. 12:50 UK time for the second practice session from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the twilight. Practice 3 with me and Hazel Southwell on commentary will be at 9:50 a.m. Qualifying will be at 1:45. And the race, 12:30, we're on air with the race start at 1:10 UK time, and the Sunday race review and the wrap-up show going on. And finally, we have a chat back. And hello, Gwenwyn. How was the FP1? FP1 was absolutely boring. You didn't miss anything. Verstappen top from Bottas and Ocon. We'll have more action in free practice too. Glad you joined us. We'll be back, though, at 1:45 UK time here on YouTube for the second session. Dad, wrap up the show.
I just saw a bike and a Formula One car.
I think it was Hamilton and Rossi. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
give you a quick roundup then if you just joined in.
That was my ideal thing.
Yeah. Right, quick wrap up then for those of you just joining us. It's Verstappen fastest at 1:37.378 from Bottas, Ocon, Albon, Hamilton, Stroll, Perez, Kvyat, Gasly, Raikkonen, Sainz, Leclerc, Norris, Vettel, Kubica, Russell, Latifi, Schumacher, Fittipaldi and Ricciardo, who was last. What happened was Ricciardo stopped early on. He had a problem with fuel pressure. Alexander Albon had a spin down at turn 12 and 13, just locked the rears and bounced over the curbs. And Lewis Hamilton had a brake-by-wire issue, had to change the brake pedal and the wire. Verstappen, though, fastest overall in this first session. Quite a good one, actually, if you think about it. But FP2 later will be very, very interesting.
I don't think you missed much.
No, you don't. Join us, though, for free practice 2 in around about 2 hours' time. Bye for now.